So there's four main types of verbs in Potawatomi. You have something called a VAI, which we have up here on the board. It's an animate intransitive verb. These are your basic verbs like I sit, I read, I eat, I leave. Basically a verb that doesn't affect anyone else. Then we have something called an II verb, an inanimate intransitive. Those are what are a lot of times adjectives in English. It's round, they're round. It's red, they're red. And then we have something called a VTI verb, which is a transitive inanimate verb. Once you start talking about interacting with an object, you use a VTI verb. So like, I touch it, I see it, and you start mentioning the object itself. Like, I see the chair, I touch the chair, then you use a VTI verb. The final type verb is called a VTA, or a transitive animate verb. And that would be a verb where two animate people are interacting. So like, I'm talking to him, he's talking to me, we're talking to them, you tell her. And there's quite a few different forms with those. But with this basic VAI verb, there's only 7 main types. Now, there's a couple different forms. There's something called the independent, which we're going to go over right here, and then there's something called the conjunct, which we're also going to touch on. So in the independent, the verb maji, again, is the verb to leave. Now, some of you who may have experience with Ojibwa may know maja. Maja is how they say it in Canada or in Ojibwa, but we say maji in Potawatomi. So that means he or she leaves. Namaji, I am leaving, present tense. That N is letting you know it's the I. It's all contained right there on the verb. Gamaji, you're leaving. That G is the you. Maji by itself, or some people will also put a walk at the end, so they'll say maji walk. And occasionally somebody will put a W at the front. It's just wamaji. He or she is leaving. Namajimen, we but not you are leaving, and I'll explain that in just a second. Gamajimen, we all are leaving. Gamajim, you all are leaving. The G and the M is the you all. Majik, they are leaving, with the K being the they. And occasionally on some verbs they'll use a wook for the they form. Now, that we are leaving but not you, that would be the equivalent of like me saying in English, hey, we're going to the store. And you might go, oh, we are? No, no, no. We're going to the store. You're not coming. You're not going with us. So in Potawatomi, I like to think of it as we're a little more polite. In English, you might get put off. I might say, hey, we're going to the store. Then you're like, oh, we are? No, you're not. We're going, oh. But in Potawatomi, the verb that I choose, the way that I conjugate it, you already know if you're invited or not, you're going or not. So it's very, very straightforward, very clear in that way. So again, namaji, gamaji, maji, namajimen, gamajimen, gamajim, majik. These are fundamental to starting to speak in the language. These 7 forms right here. And again, you can take these and apply these to almost all VAI verbs. There are some that are a little bit different, but if you go to our dictionary at www.pottawatomidictionary.com, there's actually an area where you can hit on tags, which will give you a whole list of these VAI verbs that are regular type ones that you can run through this pattern with. And really you can just start using the language right away. You know, start talking right away. So, this is that same verb here in the past tense. Again, everything is contained. This is actually one word. Everything's contained on the verb. That gi right there is telling you that happened in the past. So, nagimaji, I left. Gagimaji, you left. Gimaji, he or she left. And again, you have some people might say gimaji walk, or they might say wagimaji. Nagimajiman, we but not you left. Gagimajiman, we all left. Gagimajim, you all left. Gimajik, they left. And so with the past, all you got to do is you got to put that gi inside between the I and the verb, but this is one verb. Sometimes we'll make a little slash right here just to kind of separate them out. So there's the past in the independent form. Now over here we have the future. With the future we use we. So no we maji, I will leave. Gawi maji, you will leave. We maji, he or she will leave. We could also put the walk there. It could be we maji walk also. No we majiman, we but not you, will leave. Gawi majiman, we all will leave. Gawi majim, you all will leave. We majik, they will leave. And again, this is the future tense. So with these understanding, basically you just want to get down these 7 forms, because once you get these 7 forms down, you can really start talking quite a bit of Potawatomi. You can start asking simple questions. And over here I have an example of that. If you say wabuk, wabuk is tomorrow, wabuk ne gawi maji. Are you going to leave tomorrow? Wabuk ne gawi maji. And that ne, that simple question, is really easy to use. You can even use it in a simplified form, like if you just know an object, for example. Maybe you know that this is a chair right here. Maybe you know a chair. You could say, or you're not 100% sure if it's called a chair. You say jeep de buenne. That'd be like, is it a chair? Or shonyane, do you have money? And you can do it like that too. If you want to know a whole lot of verbs, go to www.potawatomidictionary.com. Look for the tag for VAI verbs, and you should find a whole list of regular VAI verbs, and you can just take those and basically just punch them in the pattern. Memorize this pattern. Know it backwards, know it frontwards, be able to just spit them out, because understanding these patterns as a second language learner is really fundamental to being able to really start talking the language. And then as an adult learner, don't be afraid to use the language. Remember, this is our language. It's our language to make mistakes with. It's our language to get right, but it's okay to make mistakes. That's part of the process of learning. And so next we're going to talk about the conjunct form.